Webex Calling, sometimes abbreviated as WXC, integrates the normal cloud PBX features that you'd expect, such as phone functionality, on-hold music, call transfers, conference calling, and more. The Webex infrastructure provides meetings, conference room systems, instant messaging, duo authentication, and other beneficial features. In this episode of Cisco Tech Talk, I'll show you how to convert an enterprise phone to use Cisco's cloud-based voice over IP system, Webex Calling, once that side has been set up. The steps in this video show the manual migration method that's recommended for a lab or small number of phones. To start, you'll need to make sure your model of phone and firmware version are eligible for conversion. This list shows what will work. See yours on this list? Great. Now, there are two websites utilized for this process. First is the Webex Control Hub, located at admin.webex.com. This is where you create an account, enter information, register the phone, and manage the account once everything is configured. Before you migrate and register a phone, your network administrator needs to set up your organization for Webex Calling, including creating users and workspaces. If you happen to be the network administrator and you need assistance with the configuration of Webex Calling, like setting up phone numbers, users, hunt groups, or anything other than provisioning the phone, contact the Webex Calling support team for assistance. The link is in the description. The Webex Control Hub can be accessed once the account has been created. The prerequisite list can be found under Updates and Migrations, and then Migrate Enterprise Phones to MPP Firmware. The second website, called the Cloud Upgrader, is located at upgrade.cisco.com. This site explains the prerequisites for the network administrator as well as a migration assistant that explains what to enter onto the phone itself. These websites are listed in the description. Connect the LAN port of the phone to your network, typically a LAN port on a router or switch. If your phone uses power over Ethernet, use a PoE port on your switch. Optionally, connect the access port of the phone to your computer with Ethernet cables. If your phone needs power besides with PoE, connect the phone to an outlet. Log into WXC with an account that has administrator privileges. Navigate to Calling and click the Locations tab. Take note of the name of the location. In my case, this is Site 1. The location name needs to be entered exactly the same when you fill out the template on a later step. Navigate to Users. You can see that the network administrator has some users already set up in this Webex Calling account, although no phones are shown for migration. Scroll down under Services and select Updates and Migrations. Select the second option for migrating enterprise phones to MPP firmware. Once directed to this area, you can see some of the migrations that have already been done. There are two steps for doing the migration. Step 1, the prerequisites, should have been done already, so you can start with Step 2. Click on Start a New Task. Give this task a unique name. I'll call mine Migration Test 1. Select Next. Download the CSV template. I've already got those downloaded. Once you have them downloaded, open the CSV file named Devices. This is a template. Enter the information, including the location name you noted earlier. Delete the sample entries and save with a unique name that you'll remember. I'll name mine 7861 WXC Migration. You can see in my example that I did not add an extension or a phone number. My MAC address doesn't have colons, and Site 1 has been entered for the location. On the Upgrade page, click Upload. Select the CSV file for migration, click Open, and then Next. Eligibility will be checked for this phone. Once eligibility is displayed, click on Prepare for Migration, and then select OK. At this point, you will see the status as In Progress. It's important that you do not attempt to do anything to migrate the phone until it states it is ready. Otherwise, you'll run into issues. Once the migration is ready, go over to the Cisco Cloud Upgrader website for these next steps. choose Enterprise to MPP for Webex Calling only. At this point, you are at the Run Migration step, so select that. Since you are performing a manual migration, select that option, preferably for a lab, proof of concept, or if you only have a handful of devices. Scroll down for the instructions. On your phone, you need to go into the phone settings, the gear button on the phone. Select Admin Settings, Network Ethernet Setup, and then IPv4 Setup. Scroll down to the Alternate TFTP tab. By default, this is set to No. Edit to set the alternate TFTP to On, Yes, and configure the TFTP server 1 to the address listed. Enter the static IP address specified on upgrade.cisco.com. It will show the latest information. To enter these numbers, you will either have a dot button connected to the star key, or you will need to click the large circular button on the phone for the octets to show for the address. This depends on your model of phone. Once done, select Validate, then Apply. If you are shown that a trust list is installed, select Erase. Wait for the phone to download the configuration. It may restart several times. Once the migration process is complete, the phone should be registered to the extension or phone number that was assigned to the user or MAC address in the CSV file. When the line key is green, it's registered with an extension. That's it. The phone has successfully migrated from Enterprise firmware over to MPP firmware for Webex Calling. A few quick checks on our Webex Control Hub now that the phone's been migrated. You may remember that there weren't any phones shown here earlier. Now, when I navigate to devices, that phone is listed and online. This is the user that the phone was assigned to. Additionally, if I go down to Updates and Migrations and select the migration that we just did, you'll see there's no errors. Under the Successful tab, there's one entry, and we can see that the user is online. And this shows that the migration was successful. All set. You've completed the steps to migrate the firmware from an enterprise phone to MPP for use with Webex Calling. You can make calls on your phone both inside and outside of the office. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.